George Orwell's 1984, published in 1949, stands as a seminal work of dystopian fiction, a chilling exploration of a totalitarian future that has left an indelible mark on political discourse and popular culture. Orwell, a democratic socialist who had witnessed the rise of Nazism and Stalinism, penned the novel as a stark warning against the dangers of unaccountable governments and the erosion of individual freedoms. The novel's imagined world of 1984, with its omnipresent surveillance, manipulation of truth, and suppression of independent thought, has become a powerful symbol of political and social oppression. The terms and concepts Orwell introduced, such as Big Brother, thought police, doublethink, and newspeak, have entered the common lexicon, serving as bywords for modern abuses of power. The narrative unfolds in a bleak and decaying London, the capital of Airstrip 1, a province of the superstate Oceania. The world is divided into three perpetually warring totalitarian states: Oceania, Eurasia, and Eastasia. Oceania is governed by the Iron Fist of the Party, a monolithic and all-powerful entity personified by its enigmatic leader, Big Brother, whose portrait, accompanied by the caption, "Big Brother is watching you," is ubiquitous. The party's ideology, known as Ingsoc, English socialism, demands absolute conformity and unthinking obedience from its subjects. The protagonist and his rebellion, Winston Smith's struggle for individuality. At the heart of this oppressive society is Winston Smith, a 39-year-old member of the Outer Party, the novel's phlegmatic everyman protagonist. Frail, contemplative, and fatalistic, Winston harbors a secret hatred for the party and its suffocating control. His job at the Ministry of Truth, ironically, involves the systematic alteration of historical records to align with the party's ever-changing narrative. This constant manipulation of the past fuels Winston's disillusionment and his desperate longing for a time before the revolution, a time he can only vaguely remember. Winston's rebellion begins with a seemingly small act of defiance, the purchase of a diary. In a society where even rebellious thoughts, or thought crime, are punishable by death, the act of recording his private thoughts is a monumental act of self-assertion. His diary becomes a sanctuary for his heretical opinions, his memories, and his speculations about the true nature of the past. He writes for a future that may never exist, a future where truth and freedom are not alien concepts. Winston's internal rebellion soon finds an external outlet in his forbidden love affair with Julia, a young woman who works in the fiction department of the Ministry of Truth. Initially, Winston despises Julia, suspecting her of being a spy for the thought police due to her zealous public persona as a member of the Junior Anti-Sex League. However, a surreptitiously passed note confessing her love for him shatters his preconceptions. Their relationship is a direct challenge to the party's authority, as individual relationships and sexual desire are strictly prohibited, viewed as a threat to the party's absolute control over their members' loyalty. Together, Winston and Julia seek out pockets of privacy in a world devoid of it, renting a room above an antique shop in the Pearl District, an area less intensely monitored by the party. This room becomes their sanctuary, a place where they can be themselves, away from the prying eyes of the telescreens. It is here that Winston's rebellion takes on a more intellectual dimension, as he reads The Theory and Practice of Oligarchical Collectivism, a book purportedly written by Emmanuel Goldstein, the party's reviled enemy and the supposed leader of an underground resistance movement known as the Brotherhood. The book provides a detailed analysis of the party's methods of control, its ideology, and the perpetual nature of the war between the superstates. The all-seeing eye, surveillance, and the thought police. The world of 1984 is one of constant and pervasive surveillance. The party's primary tool of control is the telescreen, a two-way television that broadcasts propaganda and simultaneously monitors the populace. These telescreens are in every home and public space, their unblinking gaze a constant reminder of the party's omnipresence. Hidden microphones and a network of spies, including children who are encouraged to report on their parents, further entrench the party's surveillance state. The enforcers of this surveillance are the dreaded thought police, a secret police force responsible for detecting and punishing thought crime. Their methods are insidious and effective, relying on psychological manipulation and the creation of an atmosphere of pervasive fear. Citizens live in a constant state of anxiety, knowing that any unorthodox thought, any flicker of dissent in their expression could lead to their arrest and vaporization, their complete erasure from history. The character of Mr. Charrington, the seemingly harmless old man who runs the antique shop where Winston buys his diary and rents a room for his affair with Julia, is a chilling embodiment of the thought police's deceptive tactics. He is later revealed to be an undercover agent, his kindly demeanor a carefully constructed facade to lure in and trap dissidents like Winston and Julia. His betrayal underscores the impossibility of finding genuine privacy or trust in Oceania. The architecture of control, the ministries and their ironic functions. The party's control extends to every facet of life, a reality reflected in the very structure of its government. Oceania is administered by 4 ministries, with each a name that is a deliberate and cynical inversion of its true function. The Ministry of Truth, Mintru, is responsible for news, entertainment, education, and the fine arts. Mintru is in fact the party's propaganda machine. Its primary function is to rewrite history, alter documents, photographs, and even newspaper articles to ensure that the past always conforms to the party's current political line. Winston's work in the records department provides a first-hand look at this systematic falsification of reality. The Ministry of Peace, Minpax, is responsible for waging the perpetual war between Oceania and the other superstates. The constant state of warfare serves a crucial purpose for the party. It consumes surplus production, keeping the populace in a state of manufactured poverty and fear, and it provides a convenient enemy to direct the people's hatred and frustration towards. The Ministry of Love, Mini-Love, is responsible for maintaining law and order. In reality, it is the center of the party's torture and brainwashing operations. It is here that political prisoners are taken to be re-educated and broken, their individuality and independent thought systematically destroyed. The Ministry of Plenty, Mini-Plenty, is responsible for economic affairs, yet it presides over a state of perpetual scarcity and rationing. The party deliberately keeps the standard of living low to ensure that the populace remains dependent and compliant. These ministries, with their Orwellian names and functions, are a powerful symbol of the party's manipulation of language and its complete disregard for truth. The power of language, newspeak, and the annihilation of thought. One of Orwell's most profound insights in 1984 is the relationship between language and thought. The party understands that to control the minds of its subjects, it must first control the language they use. To this end, they have created newspeak, a new language designed to replace old speak, standard English. Newspeak is a language of simplified grammar and limited vocabulary, designed to limit a person's ability for critical thinking. Its vocabulary is deliberately impoverished with the aim of making heretical thoughts, thoughts that deviate from the party's ideology, literally unthinkable. Concepts like freedom, individuality, and rebellion are rendered meaningless by the absence of words to express them. As Syme, a lexicographer working on the new Newspeak dictionary, explains to Winston, the whole aim of Newspeak is to narrow the range of thought. In the end, we shall make thought crime literally impossible because there will be no words in which to express it. Newspeak also employs linguistic techniques like doublethink, the ability to hold 2 contradictory beliefs in one's mind simultaneously and accept both of them. The party's slogans, war is peace, freedom is slavery, and ignorance is strength, are prime examples of doublethink. This mental gymnastics allows party members to accept blatant falsehoods and contradictions without question, further cementing the party's control over their perception of reality. The ultimate expression of this is the party's assertion that 2 + 2 = 5, a statement that represents the complete subjugation of objective reality to political power. The crushing of the spirit, torture, betrayal, and the ministry of love. The climax of Winston's rebellion comes with his and Julia's inevitable capture by the thought police. They are taken to the Ministry of Love, where Winston's ordeal of torture and re-education begins. His interrogator is O'Brien, a sophisticated and powerful member of the inner party whom Winston had mistakenly believed to be a fellow member of the Brotherhood. O'Brien's betrayal is a devastating blow, revealing the party's ability to infiltrate even the most secret acts of rebellion. The torture Winston endures is both physical and psychological, designed not merely to extract a confession, but to break his spirit completely. O'Brien's goal is to make Winston not just obey the party, but to genuinely love it. He patiently explains the party's philosophy of power. The party seeks power entirely for its own sake. We are not interested in the good of others, we are interested solely in power. He reveals that the party is not a means to an end, but the end itself. The final stage of Winston's re-education takes place in the dreaded Room 101, where prisoners are confronted with their greatest fear. For Winston, this is a cage of rats. Faced with this ultimate horror, Winston's will to resist finally shatters. In a moment of pure terror, he betrays Julia, screaming, "Do it to Julia. Do it to Julia, not me. Julia, not me. I don't care what you do to her. Tear her face off, strip her to the bones. Not me. Julia, not me." This betrayal marks the complete destruction of his individuality and his love for Julia, the two things that had defined his rebellion. The triumph of the party, a bleak and uncompromising ending. After his release from the Ministry of Love, Winston is a broken man. He's an alcoholic, his mind hollowed out and refilled with party doctrine. He meets Julia again, but their love is gone, replaced by a mutual and chilling indifference. They confess that they have both betrayed each other. In the final, haunting scene of the novel, Winston sits in the Chestnut Tree Cafe, gazing at a portrait of Big Brother. As a trumpet call announces a great military victory for Oceania, a sense of blissful contentment washes over him. He has finally learned to love Big Brother. This bleak and uncompromising ending is one of the most powerful aspects of